Story 1. I used to operate a small drill rig that returns core samples from kilometers below the surface. Everything was moved using a helicopter, and I was usually in very remote locations in northwestern Canada. Highlights included a grizzly bear tearing through the wall of the cooking tent meters away from mine, riding in the helicopter as the bear was spotted, chasing it away from camp, having a chance to fly the helicopter, finding fossils in core samples hundreds of meters below the surface, discovering lines of gold in core samples and being allowed to take them home, exploring the area around a remote camp and discovering a very old trapper's cabin. Inside, there was an abundance of old food tins, traps, and tools. Also, a note dated 1954 stated that a couple on an adventure had car troubles and stayed the night in the cabin. Later, I found the rusted chassis of a 1938 Chevrolet Suburban. Working in temperatures below -50 degrees Celsius and above 50 degrees Celsius. I prefer cold over hot any day. Making friends with foxes in the territories. Seeing terrain that most people will never get a chance to see. Being the fittest I've ever been in my life. The job was great for young, single guys, but I met someone and decided to switch careers. Story 2. I drive a Zamboni. I spend most of my time just chilling and wave at kids who think Zambonis are awesome, which is a fact. Nothing can turn my day around like seeing a ton of kids lined up in the corner, waving as I pass by. It's awesome. I even had somebody who had just gotten engaged put a sign on the side of the Zamboni to surprise her fiancé and his team. I have gotten more positive feedback in the last 14 hours than in my last 4 years. I have also been blessed with a few awesome videos. Since there is more interest in the Zamboni than I thought there would be, I suppose I will share some more. I work at 2 arenas. Each facility houses 3 sheets of ice year-round, and one operates an outdoor rink in the winter. I spend most of my time relaxing, just sitting or strolling around the arena. The other half of the work isn't intense. It's a very low-stress job, and there's plenty of time to read or draw. Maintaining the machine is easy. Anything that isn't easy is done by a separate company that is certified to do the hard work. Shifts usually start around 6 in the morning or end at 11 at night, so my sleep schedule is as chaotic as can be, though it's not all that disruptive somehow. I enjoy it a lot. I don't have any horror stories that compare to those in customer service or food service, which I'm thankful for. I don't think I could handle that stress, to be honest. Story 3. Actual title is security consultant, but I mention to people that I'm an ethical hacker. I find security vulnerabilities in web and mobile applications and report them to the person or company that requested the test of their application. Story 4. I am a janitor. It may not be the flashiest career, but I deeply love my job. Thank you for all the positive feedback, guys. I really appreciate it. Story 5. I do construction management on the heavier side, and I do enjoy it. Highways, high-rises, stadiums, hospitals, like anything in life, the excitement wears out usually midway through. Long jobs take perseverance. Relationships start to suffer in the middle or near the end. They take work to carry through. But it's really awesome to walk away at the end and see what you've all created for everyone else to enjoy. Hopefully you all enjoy it. It's not all positive. Nothing in life is. Construction is a constant argument where you just wait for failure and hope it never happens. I had an old guy tell me once that an older guy told him once that construction is like pregnancy. It's 9 months of pure hell, but once it's done, you remember nothing but love and memories. Story 6. I don't think my job is the best job ever, but objectively, it may be the happiest I will ever be in a job. I'm a process manager for a big company. The work is 99% stress-free. I can come and go as I want, talk to the boss a few times a week, and have lots of time to focus on myself. Sometimes I feel down because of loneliness and how my marriage ended, but then I look around and see a lot of people dreading going to work, and even worse, wondering where their next paycheck will come from or worrying about not making enough money. I have none of those troubles. The money is fine, the work is enjoyable and challenging without being overwhelming, and I can do lunch or go to the gym when I please. Not glamorous, but I am grateful for it because of all the blessings it affords me. Story 7. I'm a chocolatier. I make and sell chocolate all day long. I've recently finished making a chocolate snowman that stands over 7 feet tall and 3 feet wide. It weighs 120 kilograms. We can't sell it as it doesn't fit out the door, but it raises money for a local children's charity. Story 8. I don't know that I would call it really interesting, but I love it. I run a copy center for a chain of health clinics. It is just me making copies by myself in a warehouse alone. Did I mention it is just me? So much better than when I worked retail. Story 9. Operating room nurse working towards a commercial pilot's certificate. I want to fly into hard-to-reach locations to treat people without access to medical care. My wife works with exotic animals at a rehabilitation facility and wants to do the same. Story 10. I'm a 3D artist. I make photorealistic renders of homes before they are built. Typically static pictures, but occasionally animations too. Recently, we have been exploring virtual reality. Apparently, our company used to have architects design a home and have it built in the field. Then the architect would walk through it, point out things they do not like or that did not translate from the drawings to real life well. And then they would tear it all down and rebuild it with changes. Now we can just do that all in virtual reality and make the changes right there while the architect is in the virtual home. This saves an incredible amount of money and time. Plus, I get to stay after hours and play super hot. Story 11. I do our company bank reconciliations and balance multimillion-dollar accounts. I also write $50,000 to $100,000 checks daily. I absolutely love spending someone else's money. Story 12. Not exactly super interesting, but I am a security guard at a factory in the middle of Amish country. I see some funny and stupid things out here, though. I hope to be a voice actor someday. Story 13. I am an outdoor guide. In the summer, I lead kayak and mountain biking trips, and in the winter, I lead snowmobile tours. Or I winter in Maui and do kayak whale watching and snorkel tours. I move every 6 months. The pay is bad, and people are challenging sometimes, but it's much more fun and healthier than what most people do every day. Story 14. Civil engineer. I design stormwater systems, including pipes and ponds, accounting for runoff for various developments, both residential and small commercial. I draft the plans for these developments as well. Story 15. Work in the component and development laboratory for a power manufacturer, specifically in the enabling technology lab. It's pretty cool and really laid back. I help engineers with their experiments, conduct experiments, install, maintain, and design parts for prototype equipment, and work with 3D printers and large ovens with some overseas travel. It's a sweet gig. I make it sound a lot more fun than it is. Story 16. I'm a mechanic. We get a fair number of interesting cars in the shop. Tomorrow I'm installing a 7-inch lift kit. This morning I did a 2.5-inch leveling kit. Sometime in December I'm doing a clutch on a Trans Am. Story 17. I test radios that are used by the Rangers, dispatch, and firefighters for all of the national parks in the United States. I also get to do cool side projects I could talk at length about, like GPS and snowplows, tactical repeaters, and repeater drones. Those long wooden poles on the edge of cliffs at parks like Rocky Mountain National Park will no longer be needed using our differential global positioning system over the radio network. I love it. Story 18. I'm a journeyman lineman. I help construct, maintain, and repair power lines. I'm with a contracting company subcontracted by a large rural electrification administration in northern Colorado. We work with 7,200 kilovolts to 14,400 kilovolts daily, no matter what the weather is like. We do everything from overhead power lines to underground utilities, including distribution and a small amount of transmission work. From setting poles to stringing wire, hand digging holes, and hand setting poles or utilizing a helicopter, we handle it all. We chase storms locally and nationwide, whether it's wind, snow, fire, ice, hurricanes, or accident callouts. I could talk all day about this career that I truly love. Story 19. Paramedic. Most rewarding job I've ever had. When people complain, they have a reason, and I'm there to help them. We also double as pseudopsychiatrists on the ride to the hospital. It's relaxing for me and them. Story 20. I just started working at a pretty big craft beer brewery in my country that's quite reputable. It's an absolute dream job, and I was lucky enough to be hired as an assistant brewer. Beforehand, I was a head brewer at a small kombucha company and had worked there for almost half a year. I had also made some mead primarily with Manuka honey as a hobby. Some of the skills transferred to my current position. It's similar work, more or less, but on a larger scale. They were looking for someone with much more experience, but by sheer luck, I got through. I just love the job because you're not stuck doing one thing all day. It's lots of different tasks, both physically and mentally stimulating, which I found hard to find in other jobs. It's normally one or the other. Depending on where you are on the ladder, there's room for creative input and chances to do your own small brews as a trial. It's really the perfect blend of science and art, and that's what excites me. It doesn't really feel like work at this point. You don't wake up in the morning, and I get up pretty early, cursing the sun. You actually look forward to going to work, tackling whatever needs to be done throughout the day. It's very satisfying and fulfilling, especially since so many people drink and like our products. Story 21. I exchange over 30 hours of work a week to live at a place that provides me with my own room, a shower, 3 meals a day, a washer and dryer, and Wi-Fi too. I don't make any money, but all my needs are covered. It's a slow, quiet life there. Coming from someone who lived in a big city my whole life, I really enjoyed the change in pace. Calm down my crazy mind a bit. Story 22. I'm a parts manager. I do inventory accounting for a large automotive dealership. Lots of number crunching. I absolutely love it. The paperwork gets mundane, but it's a good gig. 6-figure potential with no college degree. I get to play with cars and learn about electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. It's pretty cool. Story 23. I work in sales at a bicycle shop. It's literally the greatest feeling when someone walks out of my shop with a smile on their face, going out with their new bike. It's even better when they come back and tell me how great their experience on the bike is. There was a question I received, but I don't know where the comment went. The question was about working at a shop and how to best prepare for a better chance of getting the job, especially as a first job for a teenager. It's a great question, and I think there are a few things one can do to help those chances. Have a passion for bikes. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but I think sometimes we forget why we do the things we do. Having a passion for something really helps when trying to understand the intricate parts of your job. In my opinion, I think it helps you to learn things a bit quicker too. Familiarize yourself with the components of a bike and how they operate. I think this one is key. There is no need to be any kind of expert at this point because standards in the industry are changing constantly, but the basic ideas are still there. As you move along, you'll learn what components are compatible with one bike versus another. Practice, practice, practice. Remember, none of the stuff you learn is going to be learned overnight. Mistakes will happen from time to time, and that's okay because it's part of the learning process. As long as you have the willingness to learn, all should be good. Story 24. This is part-time, but I am a teaching assistant at my university, and I love it. It is really fun working with students to help them learn material. I love that it is highly interpersonal while also being fairly technical. Story 25. Travel registered nurse. Live on the East Coast and taking a contract on the West Coast. Can't beat the pay. Will be working on my master's in informatics in January. Story 26. Live sound tech. I get paid to go to concerts and make the band sound good. I love mixing so much that last summer I was on vacation in Barcelona and wanted to go home because I missed work. Story 27. I buy businesses, run them for around 3 years to improve the bottom line, then sell them and take what usually ends up being a year and a half off before buying a bigger business and doing it again. The first year is always exciting. I'm full of ideas and enthusiasm for the new place, and I start making improvements right away, seeing the money start to come in. I find I have endless energy during this part due to everything being new. I can work 12-hour days and they feel like 4. In the second year, I go into cruise control. Most of the improvements I wanted to make have been implemented, the money is coming in, and the loan is going down every month. I cut my hours back to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week so I can spend time with my family, but I'm always on call, so I can never really fully relax. By the third year, I'm sick of it. I'm too much in the groove now to see any obvious ways to dramatically improve the bottom line. My stress levels are building because I've now been going to the same place every day for 3 years, which I'm very aware that I'm not designed to do, and every time I try to do something fun, my phone rings and I need to go sort things out. I want a holiday, but I can't take one because issues always arise when I leave town, so it's time to list for sale. In the fourth year, I sell the business, move to my house in a small town in another country where we know a lot of people, and put the kids into school to catch up with their old friends who they haven't seen in 3 years. I try to exercise and get my head straight, do a lot of fun stuff with my family, hang out with friends, ski in the winter, swim in the summer, take holidays for my holiday, and basically just enjoy life stress-free until one day I'm looking online and see another opportunity that looks really interesting and dive back in. I wouldn't say I love it exactly. I love parts of it, the first year and the time off especially, but I make more money and get to spend a lot more time with my kids than any of my friends who have a 9-to-5 job or do fly-in fly-out work. Plus, there's no company that would pay me the same money with only a basic high school education plus some life skills.